Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Shayla Brenee, and you are tuned in with the Surge. Thanks for being plugged in.
Just realized what you said. Yeah. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Nicole Lerner. I'm back with the Surge. It's been a while, but we have returned, and I'm here with the lovely Shayla Brenee.
Hey, y'all.
Yes, she's a very talented poet. Found out today she sings, so I'm excited to learn more about that. Writer, she has a book. Can you remind everybody the name of your book?
Contemplation at 3 a.m.
And I know you can find it on Amazon because I have it in my save list for when I get some money so I can buy it. And so make sure y'all go ahead, hit that one click in Amazon because I know y'all got it like that, and buy the book. So just to get started, I'm going to go ahead and just ask you to just talk about, your main creative art, what you do, and then also the things that you do, like people may not know about as well.
So, most people would know me as a poet. That's what I've been doing for the longest amount of time. But I also express myself through music and theater.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's what I'm more focused on, like, right now. It's music.
Okay. And how did you get started with all of that? Like, what was it? School? Was it you at home? Like, I need something to do, or you just always kind of just wrote and was ready to, share with people?
Well, poetry, I actually got started writing poetry because of my grandma.
Okay.
So we went through like a very traumatic thing in my family where when my uncle was murdered.
Oh wow.
And I guess that was like the start of my depression. I didn't know it was depression back then because I was a kid. But that really like sparked a change within my personality. And I was always like an outgoing, bubbly, talkative child, social butterfly. But then after he passed, I just became really secluded and like introverted, and I really stopped talking. And so nobody really noticed that but my grandma, and she was just like, if you don't feel comfortable talking to me or talking to us about it, like, write it out because you gotta let go of those feelings and those emotions.
Okay.
So I started just journaling, and then journaling turned into writing poetry. And then my sister, Tiana Spencer, she actually got me into like doing poetry competitively through our school's team, and that's how I found out about BMV and the DCU Slam team and all of those things. And then as far as music has been something that I've always done. Like, I think I started singing before I could talk.
So out there singing your goo goo gagas.
Yeah, and like my family is like very musical. Like, we love music.
Okay.
Like, when my mom was pregnant with me, like, she listened to the radio every night to go to bed. So it's just always been something that's been in my life.
Okay. So since that traumatic period in your life, and you've discovered your creative outlets, what's something about your personal growth from there that you love? And it could be creative or personal or both.
I've learned to hold myself accountable to things, and to be more patient and forgiving and gentle with myself. Because I remember while I was in South Africa with the DCU Slam team, I wrote this one like super, super honest poem about how I felt about myself and where I was on my self-love journey, which was basically like at the beginning because I did not love myself at all. And I remember by the time I came back from the trip and I read the poem like out loud to myself and actually having to speak those words to myself, it like broke me down because I was just like, wow, like I'm being so mean to myself. So it really taught me to just like be honest about my flaws and who I am, but also acknowledge that like I'm a work in progress, and to point out the achievements and the strides that I'm making more so than what I'm not doing or what I haven't accomplished yet.
And that's another note for people. Write their stuff down. And,
Yes.
what if you're feeling something or if you're in a mood, that's something I've learned recently to do. And my mentor is always telling me, write it down. I was like, I don't want to write. I want to write this. And then I always write it down. I'm just like, and I was like you. I was like writing so many mean things. And like now I'm at the point where I might not write something mean, but I was just like, man, I am mad at this. And then after that, that's all I write. And I come back and I'm like, it's all good now. So
yeah, like checking in with yourself is really important.
I agree as well. So to piggyback also off that question, what's something you hope to like develop within yourself as you get older?
More transparency. I feel like I'm already really transparent in my art, but like having that on a personal level, because like it's really easy for me to talk about how I feel like when I'm on a stage performing it for people, but like having day-to-day regular conversations like with my parents or with my significant other, like it's really hard for me to talk about my feelings and my emotions without shutting down. So yeah, just being more vulnerable and transparent in my real life to go along with how I am in my art.
I understand that. And since you mentioned like being on stage and it's easier to convey your feelings and emotions on stage. Do you ever feel like what you say or what you write is going to offend people, rub them the wrong way? Like, have you felt that way? Have you not performed something because you're like, nah, I'm not going to do it because people might feel some type of way?
I actually run towards that feeling.
Okay. You like to stir it up.
Yeah. So especially like as a Black queer woman in America, most of what I write is to make people uncomfortable, whether that's to make men uncomfortable, whether that's to make white folks uncomfortable, whether that's to make cisgendered people uncomfortable. Like all of my art is to be like, everybody has privilege, whether you're being oppressed or you're, not where you want to be in life. Everybody has privilege. Like Americans in general have privilege. I would never ever be in a space where I'm just like, I'm not going to do this because I think it's going to offend somebody. Like that would make me want to do that poem more. Like, oh yeah, like this is going to shake up the whites.
I love it. We love shaking up the whites because what can we do to them? Like, we might as well shake them up. Like,
exactly.
Nothing we could do could equal to what was done to our ancestors. So, let's just...
Still waiting on my 40 acres and a mule.
Still waiting. Or they could just not let us pay taxes for a few years.
Or ever.
Or ever, thanks.
What? Like, our people built this country. What are we paying taxes for?
Being that you are a Black queer woman in America, what would you say would be the hardest part about that? Just going through everyday life and thinking about your future and the things that you want to do?
Ooh, that's a deep question. I think the hardest thing about being a Black queer woman in America is that literally every time I leave my house is like a battle. Like something outside of my house is trying to kill me. And so that can get really tough and overwhelming at times.
It can, I agree.
But yeah, it's just, that's when that self-love comes in. That's when that, community comes in. And just that support system of remembering, like, I do belong somewhere. Like, I have a group, I have a home. And just choosing to walk in love instead of fear or anger. There's some days when I wake up and I'm just mad at the world. And then I have to remember, like, okay, how can I take my anger and put this towards something productive as opposed to just being like, F you to the world.
I understand that. I have those feelings as well. Or if something actually happens to you that is valid, somebody says something to you or somebody does some, like, committed action towards you that's, like, that will, like, you are rightfully mad, rightfully fearful, but like you said, you got to, like, lean on that love and that support system, because even though you may be rightfully having your feelings, like you can't let it eat you up, because then you can't move on nowhere.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want to be stuck. So we're gonna go to some lighter stuff now. All right. So what's a new skill you learned recently?
I guess cooking.
Okay. What you been cooking?
Like, I learned how to, like, cook meats and stuff now.
Okay.
Because before, I would just make, like, pasta and seafood stuff. Like, and pretty much I would cook what I eat.
Yeah.
So I don't eat, like, a lot of beef. I don't eat a lot of chicken. So, like, I recently learned how to, like, make steak.
Ooh.
And how to, like, clean and cook a turkey.
Well, that's big stuff.
Yeah.
I stop at turkey. Unless it's like chopped up already. If it's a whole turkey, I'm just like, I might do
it was very intimidating.
Yeah.
Especially when I had to, like, take out the insides. That was gross. Didn't like it. But, I mean, I guess it's a handy skill to have.
Oh, cleaning a turkey or cooking in general?
Both, I guess. Okay. I mean, personally, like, I don't see me cooking a turkey, like, on my day-to-day life.
Yeah.
But I guess for Thanksgiving or whatever, like, when I get older, I'll be able to say I can cook a turkey.
Like, we not going to have no turkey. We have these turkey wings or some smoked turkey wings.
Yeah. But personally, I've always been a ham girl. So, like, my Thanksgiving, I'm all about the honey baked ham. Like, I don't even look at turkeys. Like,
you don't even eat pork like that, but that honey baked ham,
it's different.
It always gets me. I'm like, man, I don't even like pork like that.
Man, that honey glaze.
Yeah.
And see, I used to work at honey baked ham. That was actually, like, my first real job. And just, like, being in the back watching them, like, put the glaze on there and then they blow torch it. So that's how it gets, like, hard and crystallized.
Watering, just like...
Oh, my God. Like, whoo. Don't get me started. I could, like, give a whole lesson on honey baked ham.
What's an art form, other than the ones that you already dabble in, that you want to get into?
I want to get into painting.
Okay.
Like, painting and drawing. And photography. Because I feel like I'm pretty good with my iPhone camera. And I'd be, like, playing around with it, seeing different filters and effects that I can put on pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
So I, like, really want to see what I can do with an actual real camera. And then as far as painting, like, I've been to a couple of sip and paints before, and they're just really relaxing.
Yeah.
Like,
painting and doing anything with your hand and creating colors is fun. I color for fun. Like,
I have coloring books too.
I sit there with my little color pencils with a coloring book. I got a minion one right now that I'm trying to finish.
Oh, that's so cute.
It's so therapeutic.
And that's why I love it more than, like, poetry or songwriting. Because with any form of writing, like, you have to think about having a full thought or what you want to say. And, like, forming sentences and paragraphs and all of that stuff. But with painting, like, you don't have to worry about any of that. Like, you can splatter paint, you can finger paint, you can do whatever. You can just have random strokes, and then somebody will call it art and pay you thousands of dollars for it.
If you could be on any sitcom, which one would you be on, and what would be the character you play? Like, you get to create your own character in the sitcom.
See, I don't even, like, watch TV like that anymore. So
I can't even from your childhood.
I can't even think of, like, okay, so I can think of a recent.
Yeah,
because everything that came to my mind was, like, 90s sitcoms. So I guess the most recent one that I've watched is, like, Grownish.
Okay.
So I would be on Grownish, and my character would be... I would be a foreign exchange student. And yeah, I would just challenge, like, what people think an African is and what they look like, and, you know, how they represent themselves. A lot of my friends are also in the industry as authors and playwrights and novelists, so mostly I'm just reading my friends' work.
Do you ever feel any pressure from your friends' work and wanting to be like, oh, dang, they put out this book, so I got to put out, or they put out 2 or 3 already, so now I got to do something?
No, not really, because I'm a perfectionist, and I think that comes from like being raised by 2 Virgos.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like very meticulous with what I put out.
I just realized what you said. You know.
So yeah, I don't ever really feel pressure to like rush to put out work because I've always valued like quality over quantity.
Okay.
And so, and my friends do the same too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, I'm not the type of person that forces myself to write poems or to write songs. Like, it's either there or it's not.
I understand.
And
that.
so, yeah, I just follow my own pace.
If you had 30 hours in a day and 8 days a week, what would you do with the extra time?
Well, because we live in a capitalist country, I would probably spend that extra day and time at work making money. to be completely honest. Like,
yeah, I think most people would.
I probably should spend that extra time like sleeping, working on my meditation, working on my yoga. But yeah, I would probably more than likely be spending it at work making extra money.
Yeah, I would think, like everybody at work says, like, dang, I need an extra day in between Saturday and Sunday. But honestly, if there was, we'd probably just work 6 days a week. That would be the standard instead of 5.
Exactly.
Because there are people who work 7 days a week, all day, every day.
Ooh, I've been there.
Never
me
going
too.
Back. Never, ever.
Never going back. I work 7 days a week with 3 jobs. Like, my family literally had to tell me, like, you work too much. Like, you need to take care of yourself. Like, you're going to burn yourself out. Like, I went, like, a good 5 or 6 months without my friends seeing me. And like, so when I finally did pop back up after like I got rid of some of those jobs, they were just like, where you been? I'm like, I've been asleep.
So now we're gonna wrap it up. If you want to let everybody know, you can go ahead and look at the camera for this part. Let everybody know where they can find you, where you perform at, what your book, and remind them, because we already told them, but remind them again where they can find it, all that good stuff.
Yes, so my book is called Contemplation at 3 a.m. You can find that on Amazon.com. It's only $20. You can find me on all the social medias at Shayla Brenee. That's ShaybRenee. Yeah. Oh, I will say I'm very explicit on Twitter. Like, so be warned. Facebook is the nice professional me. Instagram is like the most realistic version of me, and then Twitter is just like me with no cut cards.
I agree. Twitter is for the homies, and so
the mutuals.
Either way, this is Nicole Lerner here with The Surge. You can follow me. Actually, you cannot follow me. You can follow the Cole and Soul podcast. Thank you for signing on. This has been The Surge. Have a whatever day it is for you. Good one.